Hey, good morning, my friends. It's your pal Dave. Another beautiful day here in Costa Rica. Thanks for joining me on my channel, Casi Tico. That means almost Tico. And if you didn't know, Tico is the Costa Rican slang for a Costa Rican. So I'm almost a Tico. I'll never really be a Tico, but I'm almost a Tico. Wow, look at that iguana hanging off of the fence right there. He's pretty agile. Oh, there he goes. Um, well, week 2 of trying to be consistent with doing these videos for you guys on a Sunday. I have to admit I'm inspired by a couple other channels. Scout Outdoors, Matt and Kelly, they're freaking awesome. They're doing like a homesteader thing up in Newfoundland in Canada. I love watching their videos. They come out every morning, every Sunday morning. And then there was another one, Mustang Springs, a guy who does a couple cameras out in the desert of Nevada. He has a little spring out there. I hear a car coming. Car coming? Did I miss it? Thought I heard a car coming. That's unusual on the road down there. Yeah, he's got this really cool natural spring that he keeps open for all the wild Mustangs around his area in Nevada. It's so fun to watch. It's so cool. I was going to say, it's a beautiful day, but the clouds have already rolled in. It's that time of year, actually, now that we're into September. September seems to be the wettest month in Costa Rica, so we're getting a lot of weather drama, which is kind of cool. We don't get snow or quite the same seasons that I used to get in Colorado. So it's kind of cool to get these crazy thunderstorms and stuff. It gets a little windy up here too. But another week of great progress on the property. So I thought I would do another video because it's Sunday and it's time to do that. So let's swing around. So you're looking at something a little prettier than my ugly mug. All right. So I am on my balcony here on the unit that's finished. If you're not familiar, I am just south of the town of Jaco. Jaco's right over that ridge there. I'm in Playa Hermosa, the beach. My favorite beach is just right down there. But you'll see from some of the other views, you can actually see the beach when we look south. So I am in the process of building these 3 cabinas, which I'll show you here in a second. The first one is done. This has been such a long, difficult process. Had to go through several builders, but now I've found this guy, Ricardo, and his crew, and they're just fantastic. Let me zoom out a little here. There we go. So you guys can see. So this one's mine. Sorry, I didn't clean it for you, but it's very lived in. So it's very much just a great big studio, right? I still need to do a closet door there. A couple little things that need to be done. Sorry, that was my finger. I'm good at doing that. But yeah, so this is what it'll be, when these are turned into rentals. So great big king-size bed and nice big living space here. They probably won't all have cat trees, but hey, I got cats. So this one is lived in. I don't necessarily think I'm going to live here forever. Eventually, I'd really like all 3 of these to be rentals, but right now, this is a great way for me to save money living in one of these things so I don't have to have a rental down the hill. And it's super nice. I mean, look what I get to look at every day. I mean, this is what I wake up to looking at, and then when I wander over to the kitchen, I have this view. This is looking south. And even here in the bathroom, nice view, right? Okay. All right, let's take a walk. You coming, buddy? Here comes my helper. That's Dude. He's the man. His sister's probably going to be at the bottom of the stairs. My poor sweet girl down here. Where are you, babe? Her hips are starting to get a little sore, just like mine. And she doesn't like the stairs. That's one of the other reasons why I'm not sure it's going to be. There she is, in her favorite spot. Hi, sweetheart. Big yawn. When you don't have any kids of your own, your critters become your kids, right? And I can tell that it's causing her aches and pains to go up those stairs. So maybe when we do get these done, I'll move down the hill into a rental or something so I can recognize the rental income from all 3 of these guys, and then she doesn't have to deal with stairs. So you hear me talking about you, don't you? Woof. Yeah, and then the big guy here, he always wants me to throw him the Frisbee. There you go, buddy. So each one of these guys will have its own little pool. The guys were working hard on this yesterday. They're putting a sealant down on the bottom there, and they were chipping away at the sides, so when we do put the tile on, it'll stick a lot better. I got these 2 water tanks here that will eventually get put in right there. That's right where the water comes in from the street. But we have a well, and you know, when you have a well and you're dealing with a pump and all of that, things can go wrong. So it's always good to have water storage, especially if you're trying to do rentals. The last thing you want is folks who have come all the way from another country staying here to, you know, not have water. Sorry, I just saw that iguana again. He's still, let's see if I can zoom in. You guys can see him. He's like hanging right on the edge of the fence. Honestly, I don't even know if he's alive. See his tail sticking out right there? I don't get my finger in there. See, he's right there. Anyway, he's not moving. He's got to be alive. How would he be hanging there dead? But he's just so still. Okay, so back to where we were. Let me zoom back out. All right, let's take a little bit of walk so you guys can see what's been going on here in the last few days. Okay, so lots of finishing work going on. They're finishing off these walls. They've been putting stucco on there. Looks like that one's almost done, and then they'll paint it. This one's in progress, as you can see. So this is what the raw surface looked like here, and then they kind of do this frame around it and they mud it like that with like a stucco, and then we'll paint it. But it sure makes it look a lot nicer when it's stuccoed and everything. But it's kind of a slow process. You put on a layer and then let it dry a little bit, and then you put on a layer and let it dry a little bit. So it's a multiple coat kind of deal. So here, let's pop up on this one. So they were working on the railings. So the railings are getting done here. They're adding some of these components here, some of these guys here. A lot of what they've been doing this last week is leveling the floors, getting ready for tile, and getting the electrical done. So all of this is concrete now. They put in these ridges here to give them an idea of how they needed to be. So these at one point were little bumps right here. And then they came in and filled in these portions with cement just to make it nice and level so that it's level. You know, these guys kind of took over mid-project here, and on my building over there, it wasn't really leveled as well as it should be. So sometimes you'll be in there and you look over and you go, is that a flat floor? And yeah, it is, more or less. But the one that I'm in could be a little bit better, but it's already done. There's nothing we can do about it. You can see here lots of electrical stuff in here. They had to cut these holes because the guy who I fired, who wasn't doing a very good job, he like forgot to leave chases and things like that for the electrical side of things. Babe's barking. Somebody must be coming up the road. Who's coming? Oh, it's the neighbors. Folks going for a walk. That's what you get. Dogs are doing their job. I told them to be our protectors, and they are. So I can't criticize them too much. They're doing their job, protecting their property. He's gonna want that down there. So let's see, what were they doing here? Why did they have this scaffolding up? I know we still need to put the gutters on the other two roofs. Maybe that's what they were doing, because I'm pretty sure these walls are all done with the stucco. I don't think they're still doing any stucco along here. Maybe there was still another coat and I didn't realize it. There's another pool down there. They're going to get cranking on the pools here this next week. Okay. Then this is the first one. I'm suspecting this is going to be the one that's the most popular, and I'll show you why. Yeah, one other thing that they've been working on these last couple weeks is trimming back the trees. Things grow super fast here, especially in the rainy season. And some of these trees here that look pretty substantial, that you would think, oh, that's like a couple years growth if we were in the US. That's one season. They spring up so fast. So we went along this front edge here and we trimmed things back, and surprisingly it really opened up the view so much more. But excuse me, my plan is to do an orchard down here, not a pseudo orchard. We're going to create a little path that zigzags its way down, all the way down to a creek that's down there. I just thought that'd be really cool to do. Maybe there's a way we can create a little sitting spot down there at the creek. I haven't bushwhacked down there yet because I'm a big chicken and I know we've got deadly snakes right down there. So I think I'll let smarter guys, more experienced guys do that. But we'll thin this out a little bit more, and then we'll replant a bunch of fruit trees and nut trees and stuff like that so that we can really try and encourage the animals, the critters, the wild stuff, the monkeys and the birds and stuff to come up here. Because this whole area right here is full of monkeys. You know, we've got howler monkeys, spider monkeys, capuchin? No, is that the other one? I can't remember. We got 3 monkey species here. We got the sloths, tons and tons of birds. The scarlet macaws are the coolest ones, flying around making a bunch of noise. So they're working on this pool too. I mean, we've got like 6 guys here 6 days a week, Monday through Friday from like 7 to 5, and then half a day on Saturday. So these guys are working freaking hard. This is what we're going to do on the inside of the pools. Nice and simple. And it's, you know, it comes in this big sheet and it's super flexible. So when you're looking at a pool like this that's got these angles, it'll flex really nicely all the way around. The ladder to get in will go right there, and then this little tube is going to be a water feature. We'll do some simple water features so we get like a waterfall coming in right here, and then along this we'll have privacy fences so that each one of the units is nice and private. You know, I always thought about these as kind of a romantic getaway. So you got to have some separation between you and the house next door. And then we'll also make sure that we've got something so that when the neighbors are going up their stairs, they're not able to look right down into the pool. We'll just do another little, as the retaining wall comes up like that, it'll then bank back in and just create a little protection right here. But look at that view. Look at that view. You know, we'll get this finished here where, you know, you could potentially put a little chair there, but I mean, you've also got this whole area here in the dirt. We'll landscape this and do some grass and some plants, and then again another privacy fence going along on the other side of that column. Just create a nice little cozy spot where you can sit here, and this is the spot where you're going to see the sunset. During the year, the sun moves obviously as it's setting. Right now it's right about there, but about Christmas time it's over here, and it's just beautiful as it's dropping over the water. So let's pop up on this one because this one's slightly different, although I think they're just about at the same spot as the second one that we looked at. I think they've been doing these guys kind of at the same time. So when they work on the railing on one, they work on the railing on the other. Hey, buddy, coming to check on us? Yeah. And actually, on the other one, they've already started on some of the cross pieces that go like that. Not quite on this one. So you can see, same thing. All the floors are done. They had created these ridges along here to establish what makes it perfectly flat and then filled it all in, which I think is also going to make this thing even more solid. Way back a few months ago, we realized that we had to do some structural reinforcing below. They were just wiggling a little bit too much, and so we did some reinforcing, and the cement also helps to reinforce it too. It's like more weight pushing down. So still got some of the openings there where they're working on some of the electrical stuff. Now what we decided to do here was we wanted to try and keep this as high as we possibly could without having to have a drop down ceiling. So instead of putting all of the electrical boxes on the exterior here for lights and whatnot, that would drop the ceiling down even lower, we popped this little hole in here where now we can drop in the electricity from above. So right there. So when we do actually put on the gypsum for the roof, it'll be flush with these metal pieces and we won't lose height dropping down. This is fine right now, but if we drop down any lower, this would, I mean, if you really looked at it, you'd go, yeah, that feels a little low. You know, the fact that we've got this whole wall of windows here helps to kind of open it all up. But we don't want the ceiling to be any lower than we absolutely have to. What makes this one so much nicer is the fact that we've got a window looking in this direction. Now try to picture this without a whole bunch of construction garbage. We still have this whole other piece of land that we get to work with. Initially my thought was we would put the main house right there. That would be for me. Now, just to back up, my objective with all of this was to turn this into my retirement job. You know, get some rentals going here and, you know, make enough money that I can live here and be comfortable. And so what I'd really like to do is create this space where we can host events. Birthdays and weddings and things like that. Initially, my idea was to do a main house right here, but oh, it started to rain just now. See what I told you? You know, give it a couple seconds and the weather will change. That might change my plans. I'm supposed to be going into Hako and getting my tattoo worked on today, or one of my tattoos. That might not be happening because I don't have a top on the Jeep right now. So if it's raining, I ain't going nowhere. But anyway, so I did away with the idea of the main house. For one, we just don't have the space allowed by zoning and building laws here in Costa Rica. But the other is that it was just going to cost a small fortune. I just don't have it. What I'd really like to do instead is I'd like to turn this all into a big garden. Big garden with a big ramada down at that end, outdoor kitchen here, and then potentially like my apartment over on this side. And then we can have a nice big garden space for hosting weddings and birthday parties and whatnot. Then we can also do a couple decks along the edge here. So if we wanted to throw up some glamping tents or something like that for extra guests, we could do that. Also, since we're up here and we have a bird's eye view, I have this stretch of land on the other side of the street too, from the edge of the driveway here to the edge of my property there where you see that green fabric fence. Going down about 50 meters, I think, down that way, I have property down there too. It's super steep, but we could do a deck there and do some glamping tents there too, which would just be super cool. But that's like phase 3, and we're on phase 1 right now. But you got to dream, got to have plans. So, kitchen's in process. I just love the fact that before, if you notice the other ones, hi babe, babe came to join us. Hi sweetie, you came all the way up the stairs, good girl. Oh, you're so sweet. Hi honey, such a good girl. So this one, because of the fact that we're not going to have that big house over there anymore, now you're going to be able to see over everything. You'll be able to see over the ramada and everything. So it's just like, well, we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot by not having a window right there. And then this bathroom's a little bit different because I wanted to do a corner window here in the shower. Because again, what an amazing view. So here you are, you know, standing here. Here's your water here in the shower. And then you're standing here enjoying this incredible view while you're taking your shower. Today, the shower seems to be going on outside, as opposed to inside. But welcome to Costa Rica in September, my friends. All right, well, the only other thing that I really wanted to share with you guys today was the electrical situation. There you can kind of see the pole from right here, and I'll zoom in. We're almost ready to get the electrical all finished, and it's been just a giant headache because the electrical cooperative has just been really tough on us. At one point I had the pole there closer to the speed bump, and they said that was too far. So I actually had to get permission from my neighbor, because they own that property across the street, and allow me to move the pole, there you can see the pole a little bit better, over onto their property. And then it'll string from over here, not that pole there, but behind it, it'll string from there over to our pole and then over to the pole on our property. Man, it's coming down. And we're really close on having that done. In fact, if you look down there, you can see that we've got all of the electrical panels and everything ready to go. We're just finishing off the box that it's all going to go into to make sure it's super secure and covered and all of that good stuff. So, I think that's everything I wanted to share with you. It felt like a lot more happened this week than what I just shared with you guys, but it's all good. I mean, we're really making great progress. It feels like we're on track to have this all done in the time frame that we were shooting for, which is like the end of September here. And then we'll be poised and ready for the busy season come Christmas time, when everybody wants to come and stay. But aren't these cool? I mean, I know it's been a giant nightmare headache for me, but it really feels like it's worth it now at this point that we're getting so close. I mean, imagine you're lying here in bed, you got your TV there, even on a rainy day, you're in here watching the football game or something like that, and you just get to chill here and listen to the rain, look out over the ocean. I mean, it doesn't matter which way you turn your head, right? I mean, it's an incredible view. Oh, you know, one other thing. So, you see this weird little platform right here? This used to be a staircase going up to what were going to be rooftop decks, which I know sounds amazingly awesome, and why did we delete that? It just wasn't engineered to support a rooftop deck. We did a rooftop deck on the first one, the one that I'm living in. We actually ended up having to dismantle it because when you were up there and you walked around, the whole building was shaking. So it just wasn't going to be safe. So we took them down, but we left the platform, so that upper platform will be where the air conditioner goes. And then this is just going to be a little balcony where you can step out here and just be outside a little bit on this side. I figured if we'd already built it, kind of a shame to just delete it, and then we'll put a door, zoom out, there we go, we'll put a door right here. So again, you know, and the door has glass door. So I mean, as you're looking out this way, you have a view in that direction too. So I mean, we're talking like 330-degree view. We'll see how long this rain lasts, but it's supposed to go into town in about an hour, and I mean, knowing Costa Rica, it could be blue skies by then. All right, my friends. Well, that's going to do it for Sunday, September 7th. Thanks so much for all your support and comments and stuff, and helping me keep this going. I'm doing this partially for you guys. I hope you know that I really want you guys to come visit me when this is done. It's my introvert nature trying to be the extrovert. Like, yeah, I want to be around people if they can come to me. That's my policy. So come hang out with me in my amazing spot here in Costa Rica, hopefully soon. So thanks, guys. Hope you're all well. Take care. Till next time.